See, Allah Ta'ala, He mentions in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اجْتَنِبُوا كَثِيرًا مِّنَ الظَّنِّ إِنَّ بَعْضَ الظَّنِّ إِثْمٌ وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَن يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. Allah Ta'ala in Surah Hujurat, ayat number 12, He mentions that, O believers, abstain. Abstain from what? كَثِيرًا مِّنَ الظَّنِّ. Abstain from suspicion, shak, doubt about other people. Abstain from suspicion. Inna ba'd dhanni ithm, because some suspicion is sin. Wala tajassasu, don't spy, meaning don't look for faults of one another, and don't make ghibat of one another. Okay, ghibat we covered in a particular many months ago. So what I want to talk about specifically is this thing which is called dhann, suspicion, which we refer to in the English language. And now, first and foremost, understand one thing is that Islam, the Sharia, Quran, Hadith, it encourages us to do those things and those sifat which create unity. And those things which create disunity are haram and impermissible. Why is ghibat impermissible? It creates ikhtilaf between two people. Why is dhann haram? Dhann, suspicion. It creates enmity between two people. Why is hasad haram? It creates enmity, takabbur, and so on. These are things which can create enmity and issues between two particular individuals. Hence, in our deen, these things are impermissible. The Quran Kareem also mentions the ideal. The ideal is وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا. Allah Ta'ala mentions in the Quran to become like brothers. وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا. Become brothers. So the ideal of the Quran is that all Muslims be brothers. Anything that can stop that brotherhood is haram. Chahe wherever you're from, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Korea, South America, North America, this is absolutely irrelevant. Because you say La ilaha illallah, now you're brothers. Anything that can bring that brotherhood down is haram in Islam. Absolutely haram in Islam. So we have an issue, for example, one of the things which can create that issue within our community is dhann, is suspicion, is negative thinking about the other individual. What is dhann, first of all? Like I said, translated refers to as a suspicion. Suspicion basically means, right, imagination of anything to be the case. Imagination of anything to be the case or for something to be likely. Or another one is a vague notion of something. A vague notion of something is suspicion. So I think this may be a possibility. And that person is doing X, Y, and Z possibly because of this. They're doing that because of this reason. This is referred to as dhann. Because you're not sure, it's vague. You think it might be possible. You think it might be in existence. So what happens is there's two types of dhann, right? There's two types. One is deliberate, and one is which is spontaneous. Deliberate, obviously, I can think about. Example, I can think of somebody, and I'm deliberately thinking about them in a negative way. I'm thinking of them suspiciously. That's deliberate. And one is spontaneous. Achanak, a thought comes to mind. We'll cover the spontaneous bit afterwards, inshallah. But I want to mention something in regards to thinking about people negatively. It's something wrong in Islam. First of all, our first qadam is what? So understanding that when we think about another Muslim brother, another individual with suspicion, deliberately, then Allah Ta'ala forgive, but we are doing a major guna. We're doing something which is wrong. Even if we hear something about somebody, let's just say somebody tells you something. For example, somebody says to you, that brother, he does this. For example, he's an alcoholic. Okay, I've heard what you have to say. Firstly, there was no reason why you had to tell me. So that can be ghibat as well. So we should say, brother, I don't know what the case is. So please, only Allah knows best. But what can happen is the thought can linger in your mind. Is he an alcoholic? Is he like this? That's deliberate. You're thinking about this. You're deliberately thinking about that individual. Now, when a person assumes that is the case, he is an alcoholic, you've made up your mind. You've basically taken suspicion and made it into yaqeen. That's the problem. And that's what happens in our cultures. And I mean, there's so many examples, right? Look, I'll give you an example in UK what happened. I don't know if you guys were aware. Did anyone aware of the Trojan horse plot? Does that ring a bell? The Trojan horse. Okay, if it doesn't, don't worry. But I'll tell you what happened was. There was this scandal that there was apparently, it was all nonsense, that there was a Muslim takeover in a school. Hardliners, fanatics, that they're trying to take over the governance of the school and so on. It turned out it was a big hoax. It was a big hoax. Jhuti baat thi bilkul. But what happened was, based on a letter that got sent by who, we don't know anything much more than that. It created this hysteria. Everyone started freaking out. Okay, Muslims are planning a takeover of the school. So what happened was, Ofsted and all these agencies started getting involved. It created a massive panic. Every newspaper was running with Trojan horse, Trojan horse, Trojan horse, Trojan horse. Muslims were under scrutiny to think this is what these people are doing. You come in this country and then you want to take over. That was the news that was kind of getting pushed out by the far right. After what happened was, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. It was a hoax. Oh Allah ke bando, the hysteria and the panic you created, people are freaking out saying Muslim this, they're trying to take over this. You've created this pandemonium everywhere, and people are now freaking out to just say, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. So in Islam, this is why responsible coverage of media is also one of the things of Islam. We responsibly, don't just send afwa. Okay, I think this, based on a suspicion. We don't know for sure. Innocent until proven guilty is a concept within Islam as well. Okay, jab tak aapko yaqeen na ho, to aapka haq nahi hai ki aage kisi ki baat pahunchana. And even when you do send it to others, there should be a reason for islah. Logo ko bachana, to help people. So for example, if I know that I know that this person's shar cannot affect these people, I don't need to disclose to them what this person does. But for example, if somebody I know is a complete fraudster and he's saying to these people, look brother, let's do some business here. We do some business, and I'm saying, brother, look, just a word of caution. You've asked me about this brother, so my haqq is to tell you the truth that there's been an incident with this person in the past. Khalas. I don't need to say he did a business with Flana Mia and he jacked him up 20 grand, he closed one of his curry shops down and then he moved up to somebody else, then he went to East London, did another one there, then went somewhere. Right, we don't need to say all that. All I need to say, you came to me, I have a haqq to tell you the truth. But again, what a person should always think is that we should always give people the benefit of the doubt. Always. Understand that there's a possibility, but always give people the benefit of the doubt. When it becomes haram is when a person makes yaqeen. When you hear something and you make yaqeen that that's exactly what they are like. That's exactly what he or she is like. Same what happened with this Trojan horse thing. It got taken out of context. People started thinking Muslims are taking over. And then they did retract. They didn't send an apology, but you know where it was? Later pages. Third, fourth page, somewhere a little comment, oh I'm sorry, we made a mistake. Bruv, the panic you created, the people aren't going to forget the panic. Because it was going one time, LBC, all news. Yard, where is the responsibility of sending proper information out? And then people want to say Muslims are quite uptight when it comes to media, because it is shown that it can't be trusted all the time. So naturally we're going to be skeptical at certain times. So this is one thing about Islam. So imagine the harms it can have. That's what can happen on a big scale. But on a smaller scale, we can do it. We can ostracize people from our communities and so on. If we see people doing wrong, we should always think something else. We should always think good until proven otherwise. Or maybe that's something, there's an explanation for that. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a simple example. Someone you see walking out of a pub. You don't know why they've been in there. You don't know any reason. But you haven't been bothered to ask them. Not that you have a God-given right to ask them, but just supposedly, you don't know why they came out. It's possible. List 101 reasons. The brother needed to go to the toilet. He was desperate. He needed to go. That was the closest place. You know, that could be a reason. It could be where, for example, that he works in a certain thing. He had to drop something off, which was non-alcohol related or something halal. I don't know. I don't know what gets sold too much there, but as example, I'm just saying there could be a number of 101 things. It could be anything. Okay, my point of mentioning is this. If you don't know for sure why that individual did that thing, it would be wrong to say, oh, I saw such and such a person coming out of a pub. What was he doing in the pub? Because when you tell next person, you say, oh, I heard such and such a person went in the pub. Such and such a person said, oh, such and such a person was spending time in the pub. Fourth person is going to say, oh, such and such a person was jamming it in the pub. Fifth, sixth, seventh, someone's going to say, gee, oh, pub mein gaya to tonu hai. He went in the pub and he was drunk. Chinese whisper will eventually get to that stage. So this is why, my dear brother, we have to be very careful that suspicions are it's a negative thing, but it's to act on that suspicion which is even worse.